Welcome to the Hunt Fish Travel podcast, where I bring you conversations with hunters, anglers, and outdoor experts who share tips, stories, and inspiration you need for your next adventure. In this episode, I sit down with Kevin Paulson to talk about his passion for mule deer hunting and why Nebraska deserves more attention as a hunting destination, for sure. We cover the challenges of the Nebraska draw system, the importance of prioritizing safety in the field, and how quality hunting gear and education have improved over the years. I share my experience attending the Aglow conference and how networking with other outdoor writers, content creators, etc. opens the door for collaboration, media trips, and exciting new opportunities. So if you're interested in mule deer, hunting in Nebraska, or just learning more about the outdoor writing community, this conversation is packed with insight and inspiration. As always, I am your hostess, Carrie Z. The show is made possible thanks to the support of some incredible partners. A big thank you to Spy Point for being our presenting sponsor and for helping me keep the lights on. I also want to recognize Radians, Outdoor Edge, Montana Decoy, Carbon DV, and Costa for supporting the show and everything that I do here. Hey guys, welcome back to the Hunt Fish Travel podcast. Well, Nebraska isn't really the first place that folks think about when it comes to mule deer hunting, but honestly, it probably should be. Tonight, we're going to talk about what makes this state special, some of the challenges, the landscape, some smart strategies, because we've got Kevin Paulson from huntinglife.com on the horn here. He is the founder and publisher, and if you haven't been to huntinglife.com, you are missing out because it's amazing. Plus, he's the new executive director of the Association of Great Lakes Outdoor Writers, which is a fabulous organization if you're in the media space. If you are an outdoor communicator, I highly recommend that you check that out as well. But we're going to talk about some mule deer. We're going to talk about some hunting. We're going to talk about conference. So, Kevin, welcome to the show.
Hey, thank you for having me, Carrie. It's always a pleasure. Good to see you.
Yeah. I think this is going to be a really fun episode. I love mule deer hunting. I've never actually killed one, but someday maybe I will be able to. So
I'm obsessed with them.
They're amazing animals, right?
Of all the deer that I hunt, mule deer are just, I love watching them kind of stot away.
Mm-hmm.
And
I've
always loved hunting them. Yep.
I know. So so let's give the rundown on your background and why Nebraska is so special to you.
Yeah. So I moved to Nebraska 15 years ago, and I started my career hunting basically when I was, I think I was 5 years old, walking in my dad's footsteps. And, we were out hunting mule deer, and I saw the westernmost herd of antelope, and I got to see, some small mule deer bounce away from my dad. And I was like, this is just the best. And my very first hunt for a deer was in Eastern California for mule deer. And it's desert landscape, so it's very wide open, and you're using kind of the topography in the mountains to get close. And I just loved that type of hunting, and, spot and stalk, and you're really spending your time out there doing it. And then I kind of left mule deer hunting for a lot of years. Did a few antelope hunts out west and was like, okay, that's amazing. And I'm obsessed with antelope as well. And did some elk hunts and owned an outfitting business. And then I lived outside of Washington, D.C. in Fredericksburg, Virginia, and I hunted a lot of whitetail. And I got used to hunting, tree stands and the whole bit. But I was like, one of these days I'm going to go back to hunting, spot and stalk. It's really what I love doing. It's my passion. And so when the opportunity came up and I kind of went to Hunting Life full time, I was like, I could live anywhere in America. And I chose Nebraska really because they had amazing schools here for my kids. Mm-hmm. And at the same time, it put me basically right smack in the central part of the state. So if I wanted to hunt amazing whitetail, I could hunt Nebraska, Iowa, Kansas. I could be in Texas really, really quickly. I could be in North and South Dakota. And then if I wanted to hunt mule deer and western animal, I still had that opportunity in Nebraska. I could hunt the western part of the state for mule deer. Then I could also apply for tags in Colorado, Wyoming, etc. And it was just like, okay, this is the perfect place to live. the economy was really, really great here. And
Okay.
so I made the move. And then my very first hunt for deer in Nebraska was for whitetail. And then it took me a year to get drawn. And then my first hunt for mule deer, it was 2011 in Nebraska, and I've been obsessed ever since. And this year was the first year in like 5 that I haven't been drawn.
Oh, really?
So I'll be hunting mule deer doe, but I won't get to hunt a mule deer buck. So
Okay, so Nebraska is a draw state,
mm-hmm.
correct? And is
Yep.
the whole state a draw state, or is it just certain units?
So for mule deer, maybe the vast majority of the mule deer territory in Nebraska is a draw state.
Okay.
There are a few places. I have a statewide Nebraska deer tag, which will allow me to shoot a mule deer in the state, but it doesn't allow me to shoot it in the mule deer conservation area. So there are some like specific areas where I can hunt mule deer, but generally those areas they're not prime mule deer hunting areas. They're not trophy managed in any way, and it's like I'd have to go and like knock on doors in private land and hunt that. And so this year I'm kind of relegated. If I want to shoot a buck, I'm pretty much focused on whitetail hunting for this year.
That's
But the
interesting.
last several years I've hunted mule deer almost every single year. And then, but
Okay.
what I did do is in one of the small units, I bought some doe tags um, in a specific unit, and I'm allowed to go in and shoot mule deer doe in that unit. And so
Okay.
I'll go hunt mule deer doe because honestly, like just hunting mule deer period is so much fun to me that I don't. I mean, if it has antlers, it's great, but I can't eat them.
Yeah.
So
Right. Totally.
yep.
And mule deer hunting is just so different. I mean, I've only hunted mule deer in South Dakota a bunch of
Mm-hmm.
times. I mean, not successfully, but that's fine. Whatever. It's still fun, and always,
Oh yeah.
you know, mostly prairie areas. Well, I guess I've hunted
Mm-hmm.
them in the Black Hills too, and that's just like a whole other animal because it's like hunting the big woods for whitetail in northern Wisconsin. It sucks because it's just so vast and thick. And and they're like super smart. I don't know, they're just way smarter than you in their natural habitat, of course, where it's just when you're out there glassing, I don't know, there's just something fascinating being able to see them from so far away, I guess.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
it's just
I
interesting.
love hunting. I mean, I've hunted mule deer both in really high alpine areas, and then
Hmm.
I've also hunted them, in prairie grass. And the vast majority of Nebraska hunting for mule deer is prairie grass.
Okay.
I mean,
Okay.
I have the unit that I hunt, it probably has 200,000 acres of public access land.
Oh,
This is,
wow.
farm and ranch land that is wide open to public hunting because they have a contract with the state. So they allow walk-in access for all land, public land. And it's like I said, it's private land, but it's public access.
Sure.
And it's not they give you basically an atlas to open up, and it tells you exactly where this land is, and then you go to the border. I use Onyx Hunt to manage all my waypoints basically, and I can see when I'm standing on this particular piece of property that's like, okay, it's legal for me to hunt here. And then I basically utilize that tool to figure out like, okay, where am I going to go, and
Okay.
how am I going to use the topography to get to the right spot to go hunt them.
Okay. And I see that. So just looking on the website, like the draw permit application dates are generally in June. And
Mm-hmm.
then you must find out
Yeah, you
pretty,
find
oh,
out
like in
almost
July. Yeah.
you apply the first 2 weeks of June, maybe the
Yeah.
last week in May and the first 2 weeks of June, and you find out if you've been drawn before the 4th of July.
Yeah. That's really quick.
Yeah,
I mean, how many other states do you
Nebraska
have
does a
to?
really good job.
Yeah. Seriously. You're not waiting 6 months. Gosh.
Yeah, and as a non-resident, you can get drawn about every 3 or 4 years.
That's
Whether
interesting.
depending on the unit that you're applying for.
And
As a resident, it's usually every 1 or 2 years.
okay. And is it like in other states where you build up preference points?
Hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah,
I
you
think
can
that's
build
pretty
up
standard.
you build up preference points. They don't really tell you. It's not like you get a letter that says you have one preference point, but you are basically
Okay.
building those preference points.
Sure.
And you want to make sure that you draw consistently, like you apply every year and apply for that specific unit, and then you'll get drawn.
That's interesting.
I have
There's
friends that come down and hunt with me every 3 or 4 years from Canada,
oh
so that's
really?
kind of how I know that they have that ability. And like I said, they apply every single year, but they've been drawn so far about every 3 or 4 years.
Okay. Well, that's good to know. I feel like Nebraska is kind of a sleeper state. Like
Oh
I
yeah,
know people
yeah,
who legitimately are like, I love Nebraska more than anything for turkeys or just like I said, like mule deer. When you had mentioned that, and I was like, oh, you're like the third person in the last maybe 2 years who've mentioned it. But you guys are like sneaky sneak about it. So, which I don't blame you.
yeah.
I
I
don't blame
mean,
you at
I'm
all.
I'm very I don't want to hot spot the area that I hunt, but
Right.
I mean,
Yeah.
you know, it's not hard to figure out. Obviously it's the western side of the state, and
Yeah.
we only have five mule deer conservation areas in the entire state. You have to apply for one of them. They're all
Hmm.
good. All of them have public land access, and
Yeah.
then they also have private land, and you can go out and knock on doors. And honestly, it's not. There's a pretty good opportunity for you on a lot of branches to get access if you're willing to go out and knock on doors and play that process.
Hmm.
For me personally, I hunt almost exclusively public land because I found success on those public lands and the walk-in access areas.
I'm looking at this
They're all
atlas.
just great.
This atlas is slick.
Yeah,
Yeah, this atlas is slick. It's
yeah, they
really
do a
well put
really good job
together.
of it. And both Nebraska, South Dakota, and North Dakota all have an atlas like that.
Hmm. I
That is
love the
very,
South
very easy to
Dakotas.
use.
That's how. So we got Aaron his first turkey, and it was on one of those like I don't know, actually I think it was an archery club who before a certain date they allowed hunters to come on and hunt, and there's very few areas in the Black Hills that allow it, and without those maps, I never would have even known about these sections that you can go on and you fill out the little, card or whatever. And I don't know. I think
Yeah,
states that
I
do
feel
that and
well.
provide those really interactive maps are doing it right.
I go to pheasant hunting in South Dakota and North Dakota,
Mm-hmm.
and I open up that atlas and I look for, you know, public areas. I look for any walk-in access. There is a lot of access that is being created by like around Aberdeen, South Dakota.
Yeah.
Specifically, like they have grant programs put together with Pheasants Forever. I hunt a lot of the waterfowl conservation areas specifically for pheasant.
Mm-hmm.
I haven't been lucky enough to draw waterfowl in South Dakota yet, but hopefully one of these days. Um, I did get drawn for a paddlefish tag this year, so that's kind of
Oh,
exciting.
that's interesting.
Yeah, they have Nebraska paddlefish snagging, and it
My
was
God.
$5 or $10 to apply, and I applied, and so I got drawn and hired a guide, and he's going to take me paddlefish snagging.
Wow. That's interesting. That's something very unique.
Yeah, and that's another tag that's wide open to non-residents.
That's interesting. South Dakota is another state that just fascinates me. I could go there. Well, we go there like every year, but um, I wish I could live there. Maybe someday I will. We'll see.
Yeah, no, I love South Dakota.
Me too. Do you know offhand what the non-resident tags cost for mule deer in Nebraska? I wonder what that is.
They're under $300. I want to say like 250, 260, somewhere in
That's
that range.
reasonable. Some of those
They are
states are
going
so
up,
expensive.
a little
Yeah.
bit, but they're nowhere near like, what it would cost in, say, Montana or Idaho.
Ugh, yeah. Well, and that's one of the best things about some of these sleeper states, or some of these, I don't know. Everybody talks about the same states all the time, but there are opportunities in other states that are just as good. You can find quality trophy deer or even elk opportunities that you'd be surprised at if you just step outside of, the social media hashtag norm. But whatever. Nebraska's
Yeah.
interesting. Nebraska and Kansas are both kind of interesting.
So, oh no, 100%. I mean, I think that there's great opportunity to hunt in Kansas public
Mm-hmm.
land, especially from an archery perspective.
Yeah.
There's some really, really great opportunities in Kansas. Iowa, you can get drawn every 2 or 3 years for
Mm-hmm.
whitetail.
If you can afford it.
Nebraska has, we have some really, really great turkey hunting for both non-residents and residents.
Do you?
The non-resident tags sell out in under 24 hours for turkey, and I think they
Really?
go live. Yep. Yeah, they they limited the number of tags, and so the last couple of years they have sold out in under 24 hours.
Oh my gosh. That's
Yeah,
crazy.
so it's kind of a big deal. And yeah, if you want to go hunt turkey in Nebraska, you got to be on it the day that the tags go for sale. I think there's only 10,000 tags total.
That's crazy. That's
Yeah.
not a lot. That's not a lot, actually,
No.
when you really think about it. Wow.
Well, and if you look at the harvest numbers for Nebraska for turkey, it's not a very high number there either.
Yeah.
So you have like anything else, you have a 50% shot at coming
Right.
to Nebraska and hunting, being successful. But if you put
Interesting.
in your cards, I think we're getting better and better as hunters. Like, honestly, like, I don't know. I mean, I say this, but like, we're getting better and better at killing turkeys. And maybe it's just my skill set is leveling up quite a bit. But I find it's a lot easier for me these days to go and kill a turkey than it was 10, 15, 20 years ago.
Oh, for sure.
And maybe it's just because I know turkey better now than I ever have. But I also think like the education level and the quality of calls for turkey has gotten better and better. And we're starting to learn things like as hunters.
Yeah. Our gear is superior.
There's so many more resources.
I was just going to say, with everything online, a lot of the educational resources that you have available, you can watch YouTube channel after YouTube channel after YouTube channel that'll teach you how to call, amazing. Some of these guys that call, they're just blow my mind. Where, Dad with his little pot call, that was it. That was it. Now you go to Cabela's and you're spending $100 on a box call. Like that. And I don't know. I think the gear is much, much better than it was 30 years ago for sure. But
oh yeah, the quality of decoys is amazing.
God, yeah. Right?
The quality of
foam
calls.
Yeah, the little foam like Fleet Farm decoys that we all used when we were kids, and those were like awesome. The $20 ones or whatever.
Oh yeah, no. I killed a lot of turkeys.
I was gonna say
so.
They killed turkeys. So, but
I had a turkey call from a company that you could pull a string, and the turkey would turn, and the fan would come up.
Oh my God, really?
And I actually we've killed probably 10 turkeys with that decoy.
Right.
Probably 8 of those, 2 of those turkeys I took myself, and all of the rest of the turkeys I took with that decoy were brand new hunters. So 8 brand new first time hunters killed turkeys with that decoy.
Oh, wow.
And then I retired it because I was like, oh no, I think this decoy is too good. And it was almost unfair.
Right.
Because I went to somebody's house and we had a turkey that, on any given day, I could not have shot that bird. Like it was a tough bird. It knew exactly what it was doing. You would start to call to it and it would walk away.
Yeah.
I put that decoy in the field and I hit that thing and that fan came straight up and that bird
it was like
came running
a
straight
beeline, right?
be like a beeline.
Yeah.
And that was my wife's very first turkey. She shot it with a crossbow.
That's awesome. That's
So
awesome.
good story.
I know. That is. Sometimes I've been using the same turkey decoys for, I don't even know when CJ Davis took over Montana Decoy. A long time ago. I've been using the same ones. I just like them because they're light and they fit and they squish down and I can put them in my backpack. They were awesome.
That's exactly why I use them.
I love it. They're super light and the turkeys love them. So I don't need any of these big, heavy monstrosities. I really don't love them. I have been, I probably have been using the same 3 Miss Perfects for 15 years or something. So,
oh yeah, no, I have all the Montana decoys.
Yep.
That's what I use almost exclusively.
Yeah, same.
And I use them because with my turkey vest, like you said, I can squish those in, slide them in my back.
Yep.
This year I was with somebody, we were using a Reaper decoy, and it was unbelievable, like how effective that was.
Yeah.
I don't think I'll carry one a lot, but it was super effective.
I've watched videos and stuff. I don't know. I don't know. Anything too big, and I'm afraid of getting shot out on public land. I guess, anything that doesn't fold down and go into my pack, I'm just a little nervous about. Too many, and I shouldn't say too many people getting shot around here, because that's really not the case at all. It's very rare that anyone, even especially during turkey season here in Wisconsin, it's very rare that anyone gets shot, but with my luck, it would be me. So I'm going to go ahead and not take that chance. So,
yeah, I hear you. And they are important to be cautious of them. As a hunter, like I tell, everybody that hunts with me, I don't even let guys carry shells in their shotgun until we're actually like set up. I'm like, your gun should be empty. They're like, oh, they're like loading their gun at the truck. I'm like, no.
Mm-hmm.
No, like we're not walking a mile in with you with a shotgun in your hand and have it loaded. There's no need.
Yeah.
If like, you're not going to kill a turkey by ambushing it.
Right.
You're going to kill a turkey by calling it to you. And so, like, honestly, as a hunter, I don't load my shotgun until I am sitting on the ground and I'm calling a
ready
bird.
To go.
Now, if I bust a bird and it flies off, that's not like, I'm not going to pull up and shoot that bird. So, like, why would I need to have my shotgun loaded?
Yeah.
I really want to know, okay, that's a bird. And it honestly, like, if I'm not interacting with the bird, I don't want to shoot it anyway. I only have 2 tags, and I want those tags to be used where I actually interacted with the bird. I had a story to be able to tell at the end of that hunt that was, he interacted off the roost, or I saw him in a field, I set up over here, I called him to me. And if I don't call him to me, I'm like, well, that's just a bird I don't need to shoot.
Mm-hmm.
I can go to the next field and do that. And if I don't get a bird, that's okay too.
Agreed.
I mean, like, I'm not out hunting turkey. I mean, I love eating wild turkey. And like this year I shot a jake, and I'm happy to do that. But at the same time, like, I just don't need to go kill
a
turkey that bad that I don't get that story.
I get it. Because you're more apt to, like, I don't know, too many people tripping behind you, and how would you not fall and trip and shoot me in the back? Just too many accidents. And
well, I guided hunters for a lot of years on elk and mule deer, and I've had a lot of guns errantly pointed at my back. I've seen 4 separate discharges of guns in a situation that they shouldn't have been discharged.
Ugh.
And it's never an accident. It's always somebody who had their finger on a trigger,
mm-hmm.
and they weren't
not paying attention. Yep, not paying attention.
Yep.
So I hear you. Right there with you.
Yep.
So.
Yep. I coach safety every time I go out. And even if you come to me and you hunt beside me, if you could be the most experienced hunter in the world, you could be Cameron Haynes, for God's sakes, or like Jim Shockey.
Yeah.
We're still going to have a safety talk at the beginning of like me walking into the woods. because I'm like, I don't care how good you are.
I know.
I respect my life and I respect your life, and like we're both going to have this talk because I want to know that it's 100% safe.
I was probably, I shouldn't say my dad wasn't that safe because he was, of course, but he was the old school guy who was like, oh, I don't know, we don't have to always close the gun case all the way, it's um but back then it just wasn't as much as it is like now, like now we're so much more aware. And admittedly, I was kind of not as safe as I should have been until I did an interview with Judge Magenis. Do you know Julie Magenis?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Julie, yep.
Yeah.
Judge Julie.
So
Yep.
she told me her story about getting, guiding those people and how she got shot and everything. And anybody, I don't remember the name or the episode number. Go back and listen to that episode if you think that just, oh, I'm safe enough. Really, go listen to that episode and see how safe you're actually not, and how it can damn near destroy your life. I mean, her story is bananas and just overcoming everything, but the nightmare that she went through from getting shot because somebody thought their gun was unloaded and it wasn't.
Yeah.
They checked it. Safety was on, but as it turns out, it wasn't. And literally that interview, I was like, okay, so I'm going to go ahead and step up my safety game because I never want that to happen to me or anyone else. You just don't think about it. So,
I think if I get shot, I'm going to be dead, and it's certainly going to hurt my family.
Right.
But
yes.
I think it would be 1,000 times worse if I actually shot somebody else.
Right.
That to me would be just devastating. And so like I said, I'm really very, very conscious. If I'm out hunting with anybody, there's never a round in my chamber. I just don't do it. I will put, rounds in the magazine and carry them in the magazine, but I never have one in the chamber. And really, like I'll be out antelope hunting in October, and I will walk, miles and miles and miles all by myself. I'm not taking anybody with me. There still won't be a round in the chamber because I always have time on an antelope or a mule deer to rack the bolt and drop a round in.
Yeah.
I've never been in a situation where like, oh, an antelope jumped right up in front of me and I pulled up and shot it. I'm sorry, that's just not going to happen to me
in real life.
And even if it did, it's okay because the antelope's going to run a mile.
Right.
It's going to drop into a little valley, and I'm still going to get close enough to it and be able to go hunt that animal.
Totally. I gotcha.
And the same with a mule deer, they'll run 200 yards and stop and turn around and look back at you. And by that point, I'll have had the opportunity to put a round in the chamber and have the scope up, preferably on sticks, and be steady. Yeah. And then I can take that shot. But I have lots of time. I'm not just going to pull up and shoot. It's never happened for me. And anytime I've ever seen anybody do that, 9 times out of 10, they shot a smaller deer than they were actually looking for.
Right. Right. Totally. I hear you. Well, let's
they weren't paying attention to which deer.
Yeah. Let's pivot a little bit to the upcoming conference. We're about a month away, just about a month away from the association, the 69th annual Great Lakes
Aglow.
I know. Isn't that crazy? 69th. Really? The 69th already?
It is pretty crazy. Man. We're the oldest hook and bullet content creator organization in North America, the Association of Great Lakes Outdoor Writers. And we started in 1956 in the Great Lakes. It's unbelievable to me. And now we're a national organization focused on content creation across this entire country. We say that all lakes are Great Lakes. And so if you're near a lake somewhere, you can become a member.
Yeah.
We have members now in 40 states, 3 Canadian provinces, and destinations are members, brands are members. So everything from Mossy Oak to a Ride-On to a St. Croix Rods to a American Sport Fishing Association, NSSF, ATA are all members.
Okay, so
And
Nebraska
then we
is
have
a
over
draw state,
200 media members
correct?
across the entire country.
And is the whole state a draw
And
state,
tell
or
the
is it just
listeners,
certain
I'm
units?
sure they're probably sick and tired of me talking about it 'cause I talk
For
about it a
mule
lot. But
deer, maybe
tell the listeners,
the
if
vast
you're a
majority of the mule deer
YouTuber or a
territory
podcaster
in
or a
Nebraska
blogger
is a draw
or even
state.
an
There are a
aspiring,
few
like,
places. I have
you
I
want to
have a
write for outdoor life,
statewide
why
Nebraska
would a
deer tag,
membership
which will
with
allow me to shoot
Aglow
a mule deer
be a benefit
in
to
the
you?
state, but it doesn't allow me to shoot it in the mule deer
So a
conservation
membership to
area.
Aglow is
So there are some like
$100.
specific areas where I can hunt mule
and as a
deer,
media member.
but generally
And
those areas
what you get
are
out of that
they're not
$100
prime
is
mule deer
A,
hunting areas.
your name is added
They're
to
not
the roles,
they're not
basically the
trophy
membership
managed in any
directory.
way.
And
It's like
so
I'd
when
have to go and
brands
like
come
knock on
to us
doors
like
in private
Sitka
land
here
and hunt
as a
that.
brand,
And so
they
this
say,
year I'm
hey,
kind
we
of
want
relegated.
a
If I want
list
to
of
shoot a
all of
buck,
the media members as a member. They are a member.
I'm pretty much I'm pretty
currently.
much focused on whitetail
And
hunting
they
this
say,
year.
hey, we want to
But the last several
seed
years
some
I've hunted
product
mule
out there
deer
in the
almost
market
every single year.
and have people take a look at it.
And then,
give
but
us
I
their
do have
feedback,
what I
and
did
write
do
about it.
is in one of the
And
small
so,
units,
we're
I
kind of
bought
the conduit
some doe
for
tags
outdoor writers to connect with the
in a
brands
specific unit,
who
and I'm
have
allowed to go in
products
and shoot mule deer
specifically for
doe
hunting.
in that unit.
And it can be everything.
And so
Okay.
I'll go hunt mule deer doe because honestly, like just hunting mule deer
Yeah,
period is so much
5-point
fun to me.
camera, which is a
that
brand that
I
we
don't
work with.
I mean, if it has antlers, it's great,
Coast,
but I can't eat them. So
lights, etc. These are
Right,
all brands
totally.
that we work with in Aglow.
And mule deer
And like
hunting
Spy Point,
is
basically,
just so different.
they
I mean, I've
want
only
make
hunted
sure
mule deer in
and,
South
and
Dakota.
know that they
a
are
bunch of times.
sending
I mean,
product
not
out
successfully, but it's fine,
specifically
whatever. It's still
to
fun.
a vetted
And
media
always,
person.
you know,
And so when a media
mostly
person who's a YouTuber,
prairie
TikToker,
areas.
or
Well, I guess I've hunted them in the Black Hills too, and that's
podcaster,
just like a whole other animal because it's like hunting the big woods for
photographer,
whitetail
or writer,
in
or
northern
blogger,
Wisconsin. It sucks.
all of those individuals,
just so
they
vast
apply
and
to
thick.
Aglow. And then we,
You know,
as a board,
and they're like
and
super
myself
smart.
as executive
I don't know, they're just
director,
way smarter than
we
you in
go
their
through those
natural habitat, of
applications,
course.
and we
where
make sure that
it's just
person is
when you're out there glassing,
vetted
I
actual
don't know. There's just
media
something
creator.
fascinating being
Because honestly, we
able
don't
to
want,
see them from
I don't
so
want
far
somebody
away.
from PETA becoming a
guess.
member and,
Yeah.
and
You know,
joining a
it's
glow.
just
I
interesting.
love
And,
hunting.
trashing.
I've hunted mule
I
deer
want to
both
know that
in really
these
high
individuals who are
alpine
creating
areas,
this content
and then I've
are
also
producing
hunted them,
content that
in
is
prairie grass.
hook and bullet friendly,
And the vast majority
and
of
that they
Nebraska
have a
hunting
level
for
of
mule deer is prairie
professionalism
grass.
Okay.
in the
I mean,
industry.
I hunt.
Okay.
I have
because
the unit
the
that I
American
hunt
Sport Fishing
probably
Association, the National Shooting
200,000
Sports
acres
Foundation,
of public access.
the Archery Trade
This
Association,
wow.
is farm and
relies
ranch
upon
land
to vet these
that
outdoor writers and
is
outdoor
wide
content
open to
creators,
public hunting
so
because
that
they have
we
a
can
contract with the
guarantee that
state.
the individuals
So they
who are
allow
members
walk-in access
are
for all
going to be
land,
professional
public land.
when they go to
And
one of
it's
these
like I
shows.
said,
They're
it's
going
private
to
land,
not
but
just
it's
be out there
public
saying, "Hey,
access.
can I have a free
Sure.
And
product?"
it's not they give you
They're actually
basically
going to be doing something with
an
it,
atlas
and
to
they're
open
actually
up, and
going
it
to,
tells you exactly where this land is,
remain
and then you go to the
professional in the industry.
border.
Yeah.
I use
And
Onyx Hunt to
I can
manage
attest that
all my
press card that
waypoints
you get
basically, and I can see
It opens doors,
when
let
I'm
me tell you.
standing on this
I use
particular
it
piece
all
of
the time.
property that's like, okay,
I get
it's legal
into
for me to hunt
events that
here.
most people can't even
And
get
then
into.
I basically utilize that
At no
tool
cost.
to figure out like,
So,
okay, where
I
am I
mean,
going to go?
it really
Absolutely.
does
The press
open a lot of
And
doors.
how am I going to use the
The
topography
press card
to
is
get to the right spot
incredibly
to go hunt?
important
Mhm.
Because like I
Okay.
said, you can get into
And I
meetings,
see that. So
events.
just looking on the website, like the draw
go to
permit
specific
application
shows
dates
every
are
year
generally in
specifically because of
June,
my press card.
and then you find out.
I
You
have
must find
gotten
out pretty.
into
you
banquets.
find
Oh,
out
like
things
in
that
July.
that,
Yeah.
You
apply
didn't
the
necessarily have
first,
tickets to, but they I could
Yeah.
call
first
them
2
up
weeks
and
of
say, hey,
June,
I want to
Yeah.
cover
maybe
this
last week in
particular
May, and
event.
the first 2 weeks of
And they
June.
say, as long as you're willing to buy your meals, you can come on in.
Right.
Okay, great.
before the 4th of July.
Yeah, that's
so,
really quick.
that helps
Yeah.
as
I mean,
well.
how many other states do you
Nebraska
have
does
to-
a really good job.
Yeah,
creating the
seriously,
relationships
you're
that
not
you
waiting.
want to create,
6
whether
months.
that's directly
Okay,
with your
so
peers.
Nebraska is a draw
I mean,
state.
I'm on this podcast
correct?
right now because I'm a
and
member
is
of
the whole
Aglow
state
and
a draw state, or is it
I
just
know
certain
Carrie
units?
from this association. for mule deer, maybe
Carrie's,
the vast
a
majority of
vast
the mule
number
deer
of people
territory
that have been
in
on Carrie's
Nebraska
podcast
is a draw
are
state.
also members of Aglow.
There are a
Yep.
few
whether
places.
they're
I have a
brands that have been
statewide Nebraska
members of
deer
Aglow,
tag, which
whether
will
they're
allow me to shoot a
tourism
mule deer
destinations that are members
in
of
the
Aglow,
state, but it
or
doesn't
whether
allow
they're
me to
other
shoot it
media
in the
people
mule
like
deer
myself who are
conservation
members
area.
Aglow.
So there are
Carrie
some like
has a list of
specific
people
areas
that she
where I
can
can
communicate
hunt
with
mule
and
deer.
say, hey,
But
I've got a
generally,
free
those
spot,
areas
in my
are
podcast.
Yep.
Would you like to come on
they're
board as a
not
guest?
prime mule deer hunting areas.
Literally.
And that helps her be
they're
more
not,
successful.
they're not
It
trophy
does, because
managed
there will
in
be
any
days
way.
for
And it's like I'd have to
as a
go and like
podcaster,
knock on
especially, like
doors
it's feast or
and private
famine.
land
Either
and
I
hunt,
have
that.
75 interviews
And so
lined
this
up,
year I'm
or
kind of relegated.
nobody's
if I wanna
answering
shoot
my
a
phone
buck,
calls and emails, and then I'm like, all right,
I'm pretty much,
well,
I'm pretty much
I'll
focused
call
on whitetail
Kevin, I'll
hunting
call
this
Trent,
year.
I'll call,
But the last several
one of them
years
will be
I've
like,
hunted
sure, I'll
mule
come on
deer
your show this
almost
week and we'll
every
talk about
single year.
whatever, blah, 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 blah. There's
And then,
always
but I do
something
have,
from,
what I did do is in one of the,
and especially
one of the
since it is
small
like a big
units,
family, you get to
I
know
bought
everybody so
some
well and so
doe
intimately.
tags,
And I know, like, I
in
can
the-
call you up
in
and
a
I know
specific
we can
unit,
talk
and
about
I'm allowed to
mule
go
deer
and
hunting
shoot
in
mule deer
Nebraska, because I was
doe
like, what did
in
we
that
just
unit.
talk about? We were just talking about,
And
okay,
so I'll go hunt.
well,
I'll
we
go
were
hunt
talking
mule
about
deer
your
doe
antelope
because
hunting
honestly,
in
like
Wyoming.
just
But,
hunting mule
you know,
deer,
but
period,
my point is
is
that,
so much fun to
through
me.
conversations
I don't,
and
I mean,
just
if it has
networking.
antlers, it's great, but I can't eat
I
them.
gotta
so.
tell you, so with
Right,
the
totally.
speed dating that we're gonna do at the
And
conference,
mule deer hunting,
oh my god, it's just
normally,
so different.
I mean, I've only
hunted mule deer
is
in
to
South
highlight
Dakota
fishing and hunting
a bunch of
destinations,
times,
of course, not successfully.
and we do have a lot of tourism corporate sponsors,
and
always
I definitely lean heavily on them.
Mostly,
Why wouldn't I? Right? I have
prairie
access to them.
areas.
I literally have their
Well,
phone
I guess
numbers
I've
and
hunted
their
them in the Black
emails
Hills
at
too,
the
and
touch of
that's
a
just like a
fingertip.
whole other animal,
But
because it's like hunting
so
the
I'm
big
thinking
woods
the
for
other day, and I'm
whitetail
like,
in northern Wisconsin.
I've got the ice fishing
'cause it's
expo
just
coming
so
up, and I'm
vast
like, I really want to
and
grow
thick,
my YouTube
and, and they're like
subscriber
super
list.
I don't know. They're just
trying
way
to think
smarter
of
than you,
ways
and they're
to get
natural
people
habitat,
to sign
of
up
course,
to
where
subscribe to YouTube.
it's
And I'm
just
like,
well, everybody likes
when you're out there
magnets.
glassing,
Like,
I don't know, there's just something
magnets,
fascinating
put them on your
being
fridge, and
able
everybody
to
sees
see
them,
them
from
that's
so
smart,
far
right?
away. And then I looked at how expensive magnets are, and they're pretty expensive.
I love
like,
hunting. I
man,
mean, I've hunted mule deer both
conference is coming
in
up.
really high
My little
alpine
90-second
areas,
pitch is literally
and
going
then
to be.
I've also hunted
Look,
them.
here's the
in
deal.
prairie grass.
I will. Your
the vast
logo can be
majority of
front and center
Nebraska
on
hunting
every
for mule deer is
vidcast that
prairie
I
grass.
post on YouTube.
Okay. I
mean,
If you
I
write me a
have-
check and
I
help me
have
cover the cost for
the
these
unit
magnets
that I
I
hunt
need to hand out
probably
at this
has
ice fishing expo,
200,000
get
acres.
and they
of
only
public
get one
access
if
land.
they subscribe
This
to my
is,
YouTube channel.
farm
It
and
doesn't
ranch
always-
land.
I guarantee you, I will
That
find somebody to
is
partner
wide
with.
open to public hunting because they
I
have
wouldn't
a
have that
contract with the state.
opportunity if it
So
weren't
they
for
allow
something like
walk-in
conference
access
coming
for all,
up.
for
I would
all
have to sit there
land,
and like
public
rotodial
land.
day after day
And
after
it's
day.
like I said, it's
cold
private
call,
land, but it's
instead, I
public
have a whole
access.
room with hundreds
And
of people that I can literally
they give you
pitch this
basically
to. Guarantee
an
you, I'll find
atlas to
somebody.
open up, and it tells you exactly
That's
where this
such a
land
benefit.
is, and then you go
I mean,
to the
my
border.
God,
I use
magnets are
Onyx
really
Hunt
expensive,
to
by the way. Holy
manage
crap.
all my waypoints
Oh my God.
basically, and
They're
I can
hundreds
see
and hundreds. I mean,
when I'm
they're
standing on
magnets.
this particular
And
piece
I'm
of
like,
property that's like, okay,
oh yeah,
it's legal for
speed
me to hunt
dating
here.
or.
And
We
then
call it
I
speed dating,
basically
but you know what I mean.
utilize that tool to figure out like,
speed
where
marketing,
am I
speed
gonna
dating.
go?
It's
Speed marketing, whatever you want to
And,
call it,
how
right?
am I
Speed
gonna use the
marketing. Yeah, we run
topography
that.
to get
We
to the
run
right
that
spot
event.
to go
That's
hunt.
just one small event at
Okay.
our trade show.
Literally,
And I see
Our-
that.
our-
So
at our
just looking on the
association.
website, like the draw permit application dates are generally
the
in June.
beauty of that meeting,
and then you find out. You
we
must find
start
out
out our
pretty-
conference with a membership.
Yeah, you
meeting.
find out
like
almost
in
And then
July.
the very
Yeah.
next event is the
You
speed
apply
meeting.
the first,
And the way in which we run
like the
that
first 2
is
weeks
you're
in
not allowed to
June,
bring anything
Yeah.
except
maybe the
business
last
card.
week in May and the first
So
2
I
weeks
sit
in
down at
June,
the table
and
across
you
from
find out
Carrie,
if you're,
and
if
I
you've
say,
been
"Hey,
drawn
Carrie,
before the
I
4th of
am
July.
the owner of
Yeah, that's really quick.
HuntLife.com. I am the
Yeah.
publisher.
I mean,
of
how many
Down
other
There.
states
Nebraska
do you have
does
to-
a really good job.
We produce
Yeah,
content
seriously.
focused on
You're not
hunting
waiting
and conservation across North
6
America.
months.
I
Okay,
also
so
own
Nebraska
the
is a draw state,
OutdoorHive.com, which is a
correct?
newsletter
And
specifically
is the
for
whole
hunting
state
conservation.
a draw state, or is
and
it
I'm
just
the
certain
executive
units?
director of Aglow. Tell me what you do. And then for she tells mule me everything deer, that she does. Maybe
We trade
the
business
vast
cards,
majority of the mule deer
and then basically on the back of her
territory
business
in
card, I
Nebraska
write a note.
is
You
a
know
draw
what?
state.
I want to talk to Carrie
There
about
are
being
a
on her
few
podcast
places.
on a
I
more
have
regular
a
basis.
Right,
state,
exactly.
And then later on in the week,
Nebraska
when I'm at the
deer
bar,
tag,
I see
which
Carrie
will allow
standing
me to
there.
shoot a
I can
mule
walk up
deer
and say, Carrie,
in the
I said,
state,
you know,
but
let me
it
buy
doesn't
you a
allow me to
drink,
shoot
and hey,
it in the
how
mule
can I
deer
be on your
conservation
podcast on a
area.
more regular
Literally.
basis?
So there are some
It
like
literally
specific
is.
areas where I can.
That's
hunt
what you
mule
do,
deer,
and it's basically basically
but
the entire
generally those
conference
areas
is
are
facilitated
they're
so that
they're
you
not
can
prime
have
mule
those
deer hunting
conversations.
areas.
Our afternoon on
They're
that
not,
first
you know, they're
day
not trophy
is
managed
a
in
trade
any
show.
way.
And so all
And
of
it's
the
like I'd
brands
have
that
to
are
go
there
and
can
like
lay out
knock on
products, and
doors
you
and
can go and
private
talk to
land
them
and
about the
hunt
products,
that.
talk to them about, hey,
And so
how do I
this
get
year
one
I'm
of
kind
these
of
for
relegated. If I
you?
want to shoot a buck,
You know, hey, these lights are really cool. Like,
I'm
tell
pretty
me what's
much,
like
you know,
really cool
pretty
about.
much focused
Guess
on whitetail
what?
hunting
The
this
really
year.
cool thing about this particular light,
But the last
voice
several years
control.
I've hunted mule deer.
You get to say
almost
coast
every
on,
single
coast
year.
off, and your light
Right.
turns on and off.
And then, but
I
I do
know.
have,
How
I what I
freaking
did
cool is
do
that?
is in one of the
So I get to
one of
talk
the
to these
small
brands and
units,
find out like what's
I
really
bought,
great about their products, so that
some
when I'm
doe
doing my
tags,
YouTube video later on in the week about this particular product,
in a specific
I already
unit,
know
and
all
I'm
the
allowed
features
to
of
go
it
in and
because
shoot
I've
mule
actually
deer
spent
doe
time with the
in that
brand
unit.
manager who created
And
that.
so
Okay.
I'll go hunt I'll go
Then
hunt
the
mule
very
deer doe
next, then
because
we have a
honestly,
big dinner.
like just hunting mule deer,
This year we're having
period,
Anthony
is so
Imprada
much
from
fun
Henry
to me
Arms coming to
that I don't.
our dinner.
I mean,
and he's
if
going
it
to be
has
speaking
antlers, it's
about
great, but I
like
can't eat them.
him
So
moving all of his factories to
Right,
Wisconsin
totally.
and buying American products.
And mule
like
deer
how
hunting
he
is
only
just
built
so
it in
different.
America,
I mean,
doesn't build it at
I've
all,
only hunted mule deer
and how
in South
important
Dakota
that is, and his love
a
and
bunch of
passion
times.
for
I mean,
Wisconsin.
not
He just moved
successfully,
all
but
of his
it's fine,
factories from
whatever. It's
all
still
across
fun.
the entire country
And
back to
always,
Wisconsin.
you know,
And since we're in Wisconsin, like
mostly
why not celebrate?
prairie
We're going to have
areas.
tailgate
Well, I guess I've
burgers
hunted
and
them in the
cheese
Black Hills
curds
too,
and
and that's
everything
just
that's
like a whole other
Wisconsin.
animal because
It's going to
it's
be
like
just
hunting
a
the big woods
phenomenal
for
night.
whitetail
The
in
next morning we
northern
have a fishing
Wisconsin. It
tournament.
sucks because
In
it's
which
just so
everybody
vast
gets to participate in.
and thick.
We're going to have some
And,
bragging
you know,
rights,
and they're like
some people
super
win some
I don't
St.
know,
Croix
they're just way
rods and
smarter
some
than you in
Flambeau
their
product,
natural habitat, of
and
course.
they're going to use the Fish
where
Donkey app
it's
in
just
order to track
when you're
their
out there glassing,
pictures and everything else.
I don't know. There's just something
In the
fascinating being
afternoon, we'll do some
able
lunch
to
and learn
see them
sessions.
from so far away.
Then we're going to do a
I
fun
guess.
carnival night
You know,
on Tuesday
it's
night.
just
It's going to be
I
amazing.
love hunting. I
Bounce
mean, I've hunted
houses
mule
and,
deer both
an indoor
in really
go-kart
high
track. We're going to be doing
alpine
some
areas,
racing around.
and then I've also hunted
on
them,
Wednesday we'll
you know,
have
in prairie grass.
sessions all day, and we're going to
And
have
the vast
sessions on
majority
things
of
like
Nebraska
AI
hunting mule deer is
and
prairie
how
grass.
AI is
Okay.
actually
I
affecting
hunt.
like
I have
publishers like
the
myself.
unit that I
or
hunt. It
how
probably
writers
has
can actually use AI to
200,000
create better
acres of
outlines for
public
their
access
articles. Or
Oh,
how
wow.
versus, you know,
YouTubers can
farm
use
and
AI
farm
to
and
create better
ranch land
captions
Mhm.
for their
that
videos so that
is
people click
wide
on those
open
captions in a
to
bigger
public
way.
hunting because they
So
have
we're
a
going to learn
contract
actual
with the
tools
state,
that help people as
so
a
they
writer.
allow
We're going
walk-in
to talk about
access
youth
for all
engagement and in the outdoors. We're
public
going to
land.
talk about
And
conservation
it's
topics.
like I said, it's
We're going
private
to talk
land,
about affiliate
but it's
marketing and
public
some of the things
access.
that can help
Sure.
And you know,
creators
it's not
to be able to be
they
more
give you
successful.
basically
We're going to talk about some things that
an
will help
atlas
brands
to
be
open
more
up, and it
successful
tells
as well.
you exactly where
Yep.
this land
We'll
is,
have a
and then
big
you go to
auction
the
that
border.
night to raise a bunch
I
of money
use
for the
Onyx
organization.
Hunt
And in fact,
to,
like last
you know,
year,
manage
we raised
all my
over
waypoints,
$7,500 that was given
I
to
can
play
see
grants.
when I'm
And these are
standing
grants
on
that are
this particular
specifically
piece
used
of
to get
property
youth
that's like,
involved
okay,
in
it's
hunting
legal
across
for
the
me to
entire
hunt here.
country.
And then
the
I
very next
basically
day will be a day
utilize
of
that
field. So if you
tool
want to go
to
out and
figure
go
out, like,
shooting,
okay, where am I going to
shooting. If you
go?
want to go hunting
And
Okay.
you know,
grouse,
how am
we've
I
got
going to
some
use the
people taking
topography
people
to
out
get
for
to the right
grouse
spot to go
hunting.
hunt them?
We've got a bunch
Okay.
of fishing trips all
And
over
I
the
see
area.
that. So just
Whether
looking on
that's
the
musky
website,
fishing in the
like the draw
rivers
permit
or,
application dates are
cat
generally in
fishing
June,
or smallmouth
and then you
bass
find
fishing
out. You must
or
find out pretty.
pike fishing.
Yeah, you find out
like in
almost
July.
immediately.
Yeah.
So you'll have
You
lots of
apply the
options to go out and do things in the
first,
field.
like the
Then
first
we have
2
an
weeks of
awards
June,
session at night
Yeah.
where
maybe the last week in
anybody
May and the
can
first 2 weeks
anybody
of
who's an Aglow
June.
member can
And
enter
you
their
find out if you've been
different
drawn
podcasts,
before
different
the 4th of
YouTube
July.
videos.
Yeah,
different
that's really quick.
photographs, different
Yeah.
I mean,
articles.
how many other
Different
states do you have
Nebraska
to?
does a really
magazine
good job.
article, or a
Yeah,
newspaper
seriously.
article,
You're not
or a
waiting
blog article.
6 months.
They'll be able to
Okay,
enter
so
all that
Nebraska
into a competition
is a draw
called the
state,
AIC. It's Awards
correct?
and Craft.
And is the
And,
whole
we
state a draw state, or is
dole
it
out
just certain
awards.
units?
And last year I won one.
So
and,
for mule deer,
Carrie's won some on
maybe the
podcasting,
vast
and
majority of mule
lots of
deer
people have had the options.
territory in Nebraska
And
is a draw
so
state.
there's
There are a
opportunities
few places. I have a
and then we all go home the next
statewide
day. So that's
Nebraska
just
deer
4
tag,
days
which
of
will
the
allow
block.
me to shoot a
Now,
mule deer
that being said, we have
in the state, but
361
it doesn't
other
allow
days
me to
of the
shoot
year.
it in the mule deer conservation
In 2026, we're going to do 10
So there are
media
some like
trips around the
specific
country.
areas where I
This
can
year
Holy
we've
hunt
cow.
mule
done a
deer,
media trip.
but generally
this year
those
we've done a
areas
media trip in
are
Fort Myers. Yep, 10.
they're not
Oh my
prime mule
God.
deer hunting areas.
We did a media trip in Fort Myers, Florida.
They're not
we did
they're
one
not
in
trophy
Devil's Lake,
managed
North
in any
Dakota.
way.
And
And
we
it's like
did
I'd
one,
have
we're
to
doing
go and
one
like
in
knock
Niagara
on doors
Falls
and private land
October.
and hunt
So
that.
those media trips
And so
are
this year I'm kind
opportunities
of
for
relegated.
writers
If I want to shoot a buck,
they fly themselves to that location.
I'm pretty much, pretty
and
much
then once
focused
they
on
get
whitetail
there, they
hunting
get to
this
go
year.
hunting and fishing.
But the
basically
last
for
several
free.
years, I've hunted mule deer
Can I interject?
every single year.
Let me just interrupt you for a really
And
quick.
then, but I do have.
kind
I
of on
what I
that
did
note
do
too,
is in one
as a
of
benefit
the small units.
as an Aglow member.
I bought some doe tags.
A lot of our tourism corporate sponsors.
In the
Hey,
in a
I'm
specific
coming into
unit,
Florida
and I'm
for a
allowed to go
wedding
in and
in
shoot mule deer doe
February.
in that unit.
Can we work together?
So I'll
and
go
Minnesota
I'll
Keys
go go hunt
yeah,
mule deer doe
Carrie,
because
come on
honestly,
down. We'll
like
put you
just
up for a
hunting mule
couple
deer
of days.
period
We'll hook you up
is
with a
so much
fishing
fun to
guide.
me
We'll hook you up with
that
kayaking
I don't.
and all
I
sorts
mean,
of stuff.
if it
And
has
it was
antlers, it's
amazing.
great, but I
Providing
can't eat them.
content,
So
tons of content. I'm
Right.
still
Totally.
creating content from that trip.
And mule deer
And
hunting,
it was just a really
is
good,
just so
I
different.
mean, I've only
The
hunted mule deer in
opportunities
South
as an Aglow
Dakota
member
a
for
bunch of
that
times. The benefits for that $100
but that's
is
fine,
out of this
whatever.
world.
It's still
Okay,
far.
sorry, I just had to interrupt.
Yeah.
And always,
100%.
you know,
100%. And Carrie said
mostly
it perfectly, exactly.
prairie
It's
areas.
creating those relationships.
Well, I guess I've hunted them in the
that
Black
allow you to
Hills
go
too,
to.
and that's
Yeah,
just
we
like
have
a
an
whole other
implicit,
animal because
if
it's
you
like
go on a
hunting the
media
big
trip,
woods for
there's
whitetail
an
in
implicit understanding.
northern Wisconsin. It
Your
sucks
job as a media
because it's just so
content creator
vast
is to create
and
content
thick.
at
It's
that
not a free
location.
vacation. And
they're like
it's not a free
super
vacation.
smart.
You're
I don't
going
know,
on
they're
a
just way smarter than
working
you in their
trip
natural habitat,
to
of
that
course,
location,
where
and you're going
it's
to
just
work there. You're going
when
to
you're out there
create
glassing,
social
I
media
don't know,
content.
there's just
You're going
something
to create
fascinating being
photography
able
content.
to see
You're
them
going to create
from so far
and
away.
you're going to gain
I
all the
guess.
information to
Yeah.
produce
You know,
written
it's
content.
just
I
interesting.
love
Your
hunting.
job
I mean, I've
while
hunted mule
going
deer
there is to
both
produce
in
content
really high
to
alpine
make
areas,
that
and then
destination
I've
look
also
good.
hunted them,
Now,
know,
if you have
in
a
prairie
terrible
grass.
time, by all means, you can
And the
say
vast
that
majority
too.
of Nebraska hunting
But you're
for
also
mule
going to
deer
be
is prairie
using,
grass.
but I mean,
Okay.
I mean, I
within
hunt.
reason,
I
be
have
smart about it.
the unit that I hunt.
If you're
probably
using
has
specific products and brands
200,000
that are
acres
there
of public
that are
access
supporting
land.
that, like if we
Oh,
just
wow.
This is,
we went down Fort Myer,
Barman Ranch
guess what? The
land
American Sport Fishing
that
Association
is
came
wide
down
open
and
to
we
public
talked about
hunting because
conservation
they have a
issues in that area,
contract
and we
with the
created some
state,
content
so
specifically
they
about
allow
that.
walk-in
That
access
was
for all
incredibly helpful
all
because some of those
land,
articles
public
talked
land.
about the Shark
And
Act.
it's like I said, it's
And
private
now,
Oh,
land
yeah.
in
but
Congress
it's
a week
public
ago,
access.
they actually
And
just, I think
it's
the
not,
House of Representatives
they give
passed
you
the Shark
basically
Act.
an
So we're waiting
atlas
for
to
it to
open
pass
up,
in the
and
other
it
chamber.
tells you
But
exactly
that's
where
a
this land
big
is.
issue
And
right
you
now.
go to the border. I
St.
use
Croix
for the
rods
next
came down, and we
hunt
actually
to,
tested some brand new
manage
rods that were
all my
launched at
waypoints
ICAST this
basically.
year.
I can
And
see
while we were there
when I'm
testing, we were able
standing
to
on this
create
particular
content
piece
about
of
those
property
specific
that's like,
pieces.
okay, it's legal for me to
So,
hunt here.
like across the
And
board,
then I basically
we're down there
utilize that
working,
tool to figure
but
out.
we're
like,
also
okay,
having a
where am
pretty
I gonna
darn good
go?
time.
Yeah.
I mean,
And
we were
Okay.
fishing
how
for
am I gonna
tarpon
use
in the
Right.
Agua Grande
It's
Pass. I mean, it
right.
doesn't get any better.
Okay.
So, like
And I
those,
see that.
and,
So,
Devil's Lake
just
was the
looking on the
same thing. I mean,
website,
we went to
like
Devil's
the
Lake. We
job
had an
permit
amazing
application
time. Carrie
dates
got
are
to join
generally
us on
in
that trip.
June,
We
and
caught,
then you find out
we caught
you must
pike,
find out
we
pretty.
caught,
Yeah, you find
Oh,
out
like
all
in
kinds of
July.
stuff.
Yeah,
now.
all
We
sorts
caught,
of
you
stuff.
apply
Yeah.
the first.
Yeah, we caught a ton of stuff on
That's
that.
another
first 2
one.
weeks of
God, I have so much
June.
content.
maybe
Yeah,
the
from
last
that.
week in
I'm
May and the
still
first 2 weeks of
doling
June.
stuff out. I'm never gonna
And
get
you
caught
find
up.
out if
Even
you're-
just from
if
those
you've
two
been
trips,
drawn
I'm never gonna
before
get
the
caught
4th of
up.
July.
Yeah, that's really
Yeah,
quick.
and if
Good,
we're gonna just
good
we're gonna
problem.
do
I mean,
two
how many
years
other
straight.
states do
Nebraska
you have
does
to?
a really good job.
Exactly.
Yeah, seriously.
You know,
You're not
and
waiting
every media
10,
member's
6 months.
encouraged
Okay,
to
so
apply for
Nebraska is a
those.
draw
Every
state.
one of our corporate brands
Correct.
is encouraged to
And
participate.
is
in
the
those.
whole state
And if
a
you
draw
as a
state, or is it
corporate
just certain
brand, you
units?
come on one of these trips, guess So what? You're hunting
for
and
mule
fishing too.
deer,
You're not just bringing the product
the
and
vast
standing
majority
around
of mule
waiting
deer,
for the guys to go enjoy
territory
it.
in Nebraska
You're getting to go
is
out
a
and
draw
fish
state.
with the people and spend time.
There are a few
as well. And
places.
so,
I have
like
a
St. Croix rods, we had
statewide
Christian Simpkins
Nebraska
come down.
deer tag, which will
He
allow me to
caught
shoot a
a
mule
bucket
deer
list
in the
fish for
state,
himself.
but it doesn't allow me to shoot it in the mule deer conservation area.
Fish.
So there are some like
we were there
specific
catching
areas where I
tarpon,
can hunt mule deer,
and
but generally those
Like
areas
snook or
are
something? Or?
they're
it
not
wasn't snook,
prime
it
mule
was
deer
a
hunting
big
areas.
wide flatfish.
They're not,
permit.
they're not choking
Ah.
inch in any
Like
way.
Oh, nice.
30-pound
And it's like
permit.
I'd have to go
Holy
and like
cow.
knock on
He
doors
was
in private
ecstatic.
land and hunt.
That's so
that.
cool.
You know, that was
And
a
so
bucket
this
list
year I'm
fish for
kinda
him.
relegated.
And,
If I
he's
wanna shoot a
standing right
buck,
there beside the riders, and the riders are,
I'm pretty
talking
much,
with him,
I'm
and
pretty
he's
much
talking about
focused
the
on whitetail
rods,
hunting
and
this year.
he had the
But the
best
last several
experience
years
of all.
I've hunted
So
How
mule
cool
deer
is that?
we
almost
want the
every
corporate
single year.
members to have that same experience.
And then,
have
but
fun.
I do
Okay,
have. What
yeah.
I did do is
Well,
in
that-
one of the
that is the other
one
thing.
of the
It's
small
not even
units.
just- It's not
I
just the
bought,
media members that get the
some
most
doe
benefit either.
tags,
It's
um,
if
in
I were
the-
a company
in a specific
that
unit,
especially
and I'm allowed to go in and shoot
even a
mule deer
newer
doe
company that
in that unit.
was looking for
And so I'll go
partners,
hunt.
media.
I'll
I mean,
go
you
hunt
have
mule deer
access
doe
to
because
some of the biggest
honestly,
names
like
in
just
the
hunting mule
industry
deer, period, is
through
so much
Aglow.
fun to
We
me.
have
That
so
I
many
don't-
Hall of
I mean,
Famers.
If it has
It's
antlers, it's
ridiculous.
great, but I can't
And
eat
so
them.
many
So
magazine editors
Right,
and writers
totally.
and stuff, and really heavy hitters.
And mule
that-
deer hunting,
I mean,
is just so different. I mean, I've
I've only
I
hunted
don't
mule
know how
deer
much the
in
corporate
South
membership
Dakota,
is, but it's not
a
that
bunch
much
for what you get out of it.
$200.
Yeah,
it's
it's
nothing.
so fun.
I mean,
and
you
all
can't
you
even get like
a B-roll for that.
mostly prairie areas.
Well, and you know,
Well, I
we're-
guess I've
we're-
hunted them
we're
in the Black
slowly-
Hills
we-
too,
we
and that's
just,
just like a
we
whole
just
other animal
rebuilt the
because
Aglow
it's like hunting the big
outdoors.com
woods for
website.
whitetail in
We are
northern
in the
Wisconsin.
process
It
of
sucks
rebuilding the outdoor
it's
feed
just so
where
grass
which is kind of our website
and
for Aglow,
thick,
where we take
and,
all
you
of our
know, and they're like
members'
super
content,
smart.
whether
I don't
that's
know. They're just way smarter than you in
press
their
releases
natural
from our
habitat,
corporate
of
brands,
course.
whether that's
Where
content
it's
that
just
are,
when
like
you're
if
out there
Carrie
glassing,
produces this
I don't know.
podcast, she
There's
can
just
send
something
it over to our
fascinating being
team, and
able
our team will
to see
publish it on
them
the
from
Outdoor
so
Feed
far
website
away. I guess
with the information
Yeah.
about
You
it and a
know,
link
it's just
back to
interesting.
it.
I love hunting.
This
I mean,
just
I've hunted
creates
mule deer
basically like
both
one central
really high
clearinghouse for
alpine
all of the
areas.
members of Aglow.
And then I've
Yeah.
also hunted
One thing that we are
them,
doing
you
as
know,
we
in
rebuild
prairie
this
grass.
website is we're creating
And
a
the vast
300 by
majority of
250
Nebraska
banner
hunting for mule
for
deer
every
is
single
prairie
one of our
grass.
corporate members.
I mean, I
For
hunt
Okay.
every single one
I
of our
have
tourism members.
the unit that
And
I
we're
hunt
creating an ad
probably
program down the
has
side that will rotate those
200,000
banners
acres of
through.
public access land.
Those banners
Oh,
This
wow.
is, you know,
at a
farm
cost
and
of
ranch
$0.
land.
except for their membership
is
fee.
wide open.
So for
to
$200
public
membership,
hunting because they have
you get
a
a banner on our
contract with the
website for an
state.
entire year.
So they allow
You get
walk-in
access to
for
over
all-
200
for
media
all
members.
land,
You
public
get to
land.
participate in
And it's like I said,
conference.
it's private land.
You have
but
to
it's
pay to
public
come to
access.
conference, which is $200.
Sure.
So
And
everybody pays the
it's
same
not.
fee.
They give you basically
when you're there at conference, if you're a
an
corporate
atlas
member
to
or a
open up,
brand
and
member,
it tells you
or
exactly
a
where this
destination
land is,
member,
and
you
then
get a
go to
free
the
table
border.
or a corporate
I
breakout.
use Onyx
You get to
Hunt
participate in speed dating.
manage all my waypoints,
all for
basically, and
$200.
I can
That's
see
crazy.
it
That's
when I'm
ridiculous.
standing on this
Legal.
particular
Better
piece
than
of
that.
property that's like,
You
okay, it's
can't
legal
go to
for
a
me to
trade
hunt
show
here.
in North America as
And
a
then
brand
I basically utilize
and spend
that
less than
tool to
$5,000.
figure out, like, okay,
Legitimately.
where am I
At
going to go?
Aglow. You can
And
come
Okay.
how am I going to use
for
the
$200
topography
membership
to get to the right
for
spot?
$200 to pay for your conference,
Okay.
which pays for all your meals
And I
all
see
your
that.
drinks for the
So
entire
just
week.
looking on the website,
You get
like the draw
to
permit
lay out all
application
your
dates are
products.
generally
you get
in
to
June,
talk to
and then you find out.
incredible,
You must find out
vetted
pretty.
outdoor content
Yeah, you
creators.
find out
like in
almost
July,
whether they
yeah.
are newspaper
You apply the
columnists,
first
radio hosts,
like the first 2 weeks of
podcast
June,
hosts,
Yeah.
maybe the
television
last week in
hosts,
May, and the first 2 weeks of
bloggers,
June,
magazine
and you find
editors,
out if
publishers,
you've been drawn
etc.
before
All the way
4th of
across the
July.
entire board of media.
Yeah, that's really quick.
for $200.
I mean, how
They-
many
that
other states do
Nebraska
you have
does
to
a
get
really
to?
good job.
$400
Yeah,
a year.
seriously.
You
You're
get
not
to
waiting
come and spend time, and
6
it's
months.
belly to belly.
Okay, so
live
Nebraska
time with people
is a draw
that you
state.
just don't get in today's
Correct.
today's
For
world.
and Yeah. is the whole state a draw
Okay,
state, or is it just certain units?
I know I talk up a lot.
So
I know I talk
for
Aglow
mule
up a lot,
deer,
but it's because I really believe in it,
the vast
and I
majority
really-
of the mule deer
I have found
territory
great value in it
Nebraska
over the years,
is a draw state.
and I just
there
can't
are a
say
few
enough good things
places.
about
I
it.
have a
Even
statewide
of all the, and I've been
Nebraska
a member of
deer
every
tag, which will allow
organization
me to
probably
shoot
ever.
a mule deer.
I'm on every
in the
newsletter
state,
ever,
but it doesn't allow me to
and
shoot it in the mule
Aglow
deer
is the one that has
conservation area.
consistently brought me back.
So there are some
you know?
like specific
So-
areas where I can
No,
hunt mule
100%.
deer, but generally those
I'll say
areas
this like
are
super clearly.
they're
This
not
is
prime
this
mule
is
deer
the
hunting
ICAST
areas.
directory.
They're not, they're not trophy
brands
managed in any
that
way.
were at ICAST
And it's like
this
I'd
year
have to go and
promoting
knock on
products
doors in private
specifically in the
land and
fishing
hunt
industry.
that.
There is not
And so
a
this year I'm
single
kind of relegated. If
brand
I want to
that
shoot
is
a buck,
in this directory, that should
I'm pretty
not
much
be
pretty much
a member
focused
of
on
Aglow.
whitetail hunting for this year.
There is
Agreed.
not a
But the
single
last several years
company
I've hunted mule deer
that exists
almost
at
every single year.
ICAST. Now I will say that.
And then, but I do
Okay.
have. What I did
For
do
the
is
most
in
part,
one of the
vast
one of
majority
the
of
small
companies
units
that show up
I bought
at SHOT Show,
some doe tags.
95% of them should
in
become
the-
members of Aglow.
in a
Those that
specific
only
unit,
sell
and I'm
product
allowed
to
to go in
police
and shoot
to the
mule deer
military.
doe.
Yeah,
Probably
right.
not a
unit.
bit for Aglow.
And
Okay.
so
However,
I'll go hunt.
95%
I'll go hunt
of the
mule deer
other
doe
companies
because honestly, like
should
just hunting
be,
mule deer period
members of
is
Aglow
so much
for,
fun to
for
me
$200 a year.
that
I
I don't.
agree.
The vast
I mean,
majority
if
of
it
you
has
should
antlers,
probably
it's great,
show up
but I
at
can't eat them.
conferences.
So
Especially if you want to meet
Right,
outdoor
totally.
writers and you want more press
And mule deer hunting
and you want
is
more
just so
earned
different.
media.
I mean, I've only
This is
hunted
the
mule deer
relationship and
in South
opportunity for you to
Dakota
do that.
a bunch of times.
If you
I
have
mean,
a
not
destination
successfully, but
marketing
it's fine,
organization
it's still
in
fun.
the country, whether
and
that's a
always
convention visitor bureau,
you know,
or that's like
mostly
Destination
prairie
Lincoln or
areas.
Destination.
Well, I guess I've
Fort
hunted them in the Black
Myers
Hills
or
too,
whatever
and
it
that's just
happens
like a
to
whole
be.
other animal because
If
it's
you
like
run
hunting
one
the
of
big
those
woods for
associations
whitetail
and
in
you have
northern
in your
Wisconsin.
community
It sucks
the
'cause it's
ability
just
for
so
people
vast
to get outdoors,
and
hunt
thick,
and fish
and, you
in your
know, and they're
community
like
or in your
super
area,
most, I
then
don't
you
know,
should
they're just
also
way
be a
smarter
member
than
of
you
Aglow.
in their natural
Because
habitat.
you're
of
going to be
course,
coming to
where
Aglow.
it's
You can
just
talk about your
when you're out there
destination.
glassing. I don't
You
know. There's
can
just something fascinating being
introduce
able
one
to
or two
see
writers
them
to your
from so far
destination
away.
and see how
I
incredibly
guess.
successful
Yeah.
that
You
is.
know, it's just
I
then,
love hunting. I mean,
maybe
I've
you
hunted
put
mule
together
deer
a media
both
trip and you work
in
with
really
me
high
and I
alpine
bring
areas,
8 or 10
and then I've
writers
also
to your
hunted
location.
them,
and we
in prairie
test
grass.
the waters.
And the
you get
vast
to see
majority
the
of Nebraska
value
hunting for
of
mule
what
deer
we
is
can
prairie
create
grass.
in
Okay.
a 4-day
I
period.
hunt.
Okay.
I have
It's pretty
the
intense.
unit that I
Agreed.
hunt. It
Wholeheartedly.
probably has
You know, we always are looking
200,000
for
acres of
operations
public
and
access
locations to put our
Oh,
content.
wow.
This is farm
This
and
year we're
farm
going to be
and
in Eau
ranch
Claire,
land.
Wisconsin, and that
it's
is
happening in
wide
Eau Claire.
open
Like,
to
Eau
public
Claire
hunting
has
because
so
they have a
fun.
so much
contract
going
with the
for
state.
It's just
So they allow
such an
walk-in
amazing community.
access for all.
You have a great college there. public land.
You have some
And
really
it's
great
like I
rivers
said,
with
it's
Chippewa
private
River.
land.
You have a
but
great
it's
lake
public
with
access.
Soda. They have one of
Sure.
the
And
oldest
it's not.
skeet and trap
They
clubs
give you
in North
basically
America.
started in
An atlas to open up, and
1917,
it tells you
and it's
exactly
still
where this land
going
is. And
today.
when you go to the border,
You have
I
tremendous
use
grouse
Onyx
hunting.
Hunt to
You're literally like
manage
within
all my
60 miles of
waypoints,
Buffalo
basically, and
County
I
in
can
Wisconsin,
see
which has
when I'm
produced
standing
more
on this
Boone and
particular
Crockett
piece of property that's like,
deer,
okay, it's legal for me to
white-tailed
hunt
deer
here.
in
And
North
then
America.
I basically
More Boone and
utilize
Crockett
that
deer have
tool
come out of
to
Buffalo
figure
County
out,
than
like, okay,
any
where
other
am I going
county
to
in North
go?
America.
Right.
So,
Duck
you know,
hunting
how am I
flyway.
going to use
that
the
area
topography to get to the
of
right spot to
Wisconsin
go on.
has everything.
Okay.
People who are into
And I
hunting
see
and fishing.
that. So
For real.
just looking on the website,
And so,
like the
it's
draw
a
permit
no-brainer
application
for us to
dates are
want to hold our
generally in
conference
June.
there. Also, it's
And then
literally
you find
just off
out-
the
you
Mississippi
must find out
River. So
pretty-
some of the waterfowl hunting in
Yeah,
that
you
area.
find out
like
almost
in
as
July.
early as-
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's
you
amazing.
apply the first
I know.
Down in
first
La
2 weeks
Crosse,
of
which is
June,
only 45
Yeah.
maybe the
miles
last
south.
week in May and the
They have
first 2
one
weeks
of
of
the
June.
greatest
And you find
wildlife
out if
refuges
you've
in the
been
country to
drawn
go to.
before the 4th of
It's
July.
simply epic.
Yeah, that's really
I know.
quick.
It's going to be an
And
amazing
great
time.
I mean, how many
passages.
other states do
Nebraska
you have
does
to-
a really good job.
Yeah, seriously.
So I mean,
you're
it's
not waiting.
just. I mean, that's
6
just one
months.
location.
Okay, so
In
Nebraska
2026, we're going
is
to
a
be in
draw
Niagara
state,
Falls.
correct?
For our 70th
And
how
is
fun
the
is
whole
that?
state a draw state, or is it just
We're
certain
going to be
units?
fishing,
So,
holes
for
that
mule
are
deer,
like the Devil's Hole,
maybe
which
the
is
vast
known
majority of the
for
mule
like
deer
amazing
territory in
stripers
Nebraska
and steelhead.
is a draw state.
And it's
There
just,
are a few places.
and
I have
Niagara
a
Falls are
right
right there.
I know.
statewide
That's pretty cool.
Nebraska
doesn't get
deer
any better.
tag, which
And
will
we're
allow me to
literally
shoot
like
a
where
mule
our
deer
hotel is.
in the
We
state,
literally will
but it
walk
doesn't
through the
allow me to
parking lot
shoot it in
and
the
step
mule
into
deer
the river.
conservation area.
That's crazy.
And they got
So there
boats
are some
right there
like
and everything.
specific
So
areas
it
where
just-
I can
it doesn't
hunt
get
mule
any better.
deer,
It's going to be
but
fun.
generally those areas
Yep.
are
Cool.
they're
Well, if
they're
people
not
want
prime
to
mule deer
go
hunting
and
areas.
join Aglow or find
They're
out more
not-
about
they're
conference,
not
where
trophy
can they
managed
visit?
in any way.
Aglow.
And it's like I'd have to go and like
outdoors.com.
knock on doors in private
Excellent.
land and hunt.
And if they want
that.
to
And so
find out
this
more
year I'm
about
kind of
you,
relegated.
Kevin,
If I
where
want to
can they
shoot a
go?
buck,
Everywhere.
I'm pretty much
Right?
no, I'm pretty much focused on whitetail
No,
this year.
huntinglife.com is my
the
domain.
last several years,
and
I've
we
hunted
produce
mule deer
Hunting Life
almost
magazine
every single year.
And I've been writing about
And then,
hunting
but I
and
do have.
conservation
What
for
I
over
did
20
do
years.
is
I
in
started blogging in
one of the small
2003 with my
units,
outfitting business.
I bought
And I've been blogging ever
some
since I
doe
bought
tags
huntinglife.com, the domain, in 2006.
in a specific
next year will
unit,
be our
and
20th
I'm
year
allowed to go in
anniversary.
and shoot mule deer
Oh,
doe
cool.
And
in that
You
unit.
should throw
then
a
we
party.
also produce the
Okay.
So I'll go
we also
hunt-
produce the
I'll go hunt
Outdoor
mule deer doe
Hive
because honestly,
newsletter.
like just hunting mule
And
deer
it's
period is so much fun to me.
outdoor-hive.com.
That
That
I don't-
newsletter,
I mean,
if you're
if
in
it
the
has
outdoor
antlers, it's
industry,
great, but I can't
you
eat
should
them.
sign
So
up to get that newsletter every
Right,
single
totally.
week in your inbox.
Yep.
Because
And
what
mule
we
deer
do is we
hunting
list anywhere
It's
between
just so
50
different.
and
I mean,
100
I've only
jobs
hunted
in the
mule deer
industry.
in South Dakota.
We list a quick
bunch of
meme
times.
and 3
I mean,
dad
not
jokes
successfully,
every
but
single
it's
week,
fine.
and it comes straight
It's
into
still
your
fun.
email box.
And
And
always,
it's just like it's a lot of fun,
you know,
but it gives you
mostly
the opportunity to
prairie
see
areas.
all of the jobs that
Well,
are in
I guess
our
I've
industry,
hunted them in the
whether
Black
that's
Hills
jobs
too,
in
and that's just
conservation
like a whole other animal
organizations that
because
support
it's like hunting
hunting and
the big
fishing,
woods for whitetail
whether
in
that's fishing
northern
jobs
Wisconsin.
and
It
sport
sucks
fishing
because
companies,
it's just so
whether it's
vast.
jobs in shooting companies,
and
or it's
thick.
jobs in the
And,
hunting
you
industry.
know, and they're
Those
like
jobs are listed
super
for
remote.
you.
I don't know. They're
We
just way
take
smarter
all
than
jobs
you
from
in
the
their
factory
natural
floor
habitat,
all
of
the way to the
course.
C-suite. So
Where amazing. It's
if
just
you're
when you're out there
brand new,
glassing,
you're starting out,
I don't know.
you
There's
just
just
want to
something
get that first
fascinating
job,
being able to
sweeping
see
the
them
factory
from
floor
so
at a
far
place
away.
like Henry.
I guess
We're going to list that job.
you know,
If
it's
you're
just-
also
I
like
love
an
hunting.
executive,
I've hunted mule deer both
CFO type,
in
and
really
you're
high
looking for jobs,
alpine areas.
we also list those jobs.
And then
So
I've also
everything from
hunted
start to
them,
finish.
in prairie
Awesome.
grass. And the vast majority
Very
of
cool.
Nebraska hunting for
Well, I
mule
thank you
deer
very
is
much
prairie
for coming
grass.
on the show.
I mean,
Sharing
I hunt.
your
I have
mule deer in Nebraska
the unit that I
stuff,
hunt. It probably
talking
has
turkeys.
200,000
And,
acres of
Of
public
course, getting us
access land.
hyped up for conference.
Oh, This
wow.
is,
I
you
think
know,
it's just going to be a
farm
great
and-
time.
farm and
I really
ranch
do.
land.
And I hope to see
That
lots of
is
listeners there
wide
and lots of
open
people
to
there.
public hunting because they have
Carrie,
a
thank you so
contract
much
with
for
the
letting me
state.
rattle on.